everybody. Welcome to the Code Brew Project's Conversations. Special thanks to my brother Densho for accepting our invite and sharing his uh, personal history of music and art. That was very, very interesting. And I received this kind of update from my friends. Hey, hello to my friends in Canada, to Ramin, Paul, Mike, and especially to my brother. Congratulations, Lawrence. The weather's just crazy there. It's crazy hot. I think they're reaching about 40 degrees Celsius. And even here in the Philippines, the weather is really crazy. And thank God, it kind of like, there's a little bit of rain earlier this morning, but it was really scorching hot for the past few days. The summer heat is really making uh, his mark, especially for during these days, right? We're really going through um, a very erratic weather condition nowadays. So, and I hope everyone's staying safe. Um, and I got this update, or I bumped into news, I think 2 days ago, with the new Delta COVID variant that's really, I think, starting to creep out in the United States. Uh, I, I went on and read through this variant, and I think 10% right now in the United States, currently, as we speak, are really getting these new cases of the Delta variant. And I think the United States have kind of like described the variant to be more transmissible, and it really spreads out very, very fast. So we are not sure yet as to how this um, type of variant may have affected the lives of our friends, especially for the Americans right now in the United States, knowing that this new variant is starting to spread out across the board. And hopefully, we can get through this. I know this is really, really hard since 2020 up until this year. Especially the Philippines is still going through mass hit with the COVID virus. So I hope everyone's really getting their vaccines now. I would really suggest that everyone gets their vaccine and staying safe at home. I just wish everyone and pray that everyone's staying safe at home. Our next guest. So, episode 3 guest is very special to me personally because our guest is really a good friend of mine. He's like a brother to me. Um, he major in philosophy. He writes really good poems and good articles, and he is a master of quality assurance. I've been working with him for a very long time. I think both of us started our career growth in the BPO industry under the quality assurance management, and worked our way up as to where we are right now. And he's really a very nice person to talk to, very knowledgeable, very wise. So, without any further much ado, I would like to welcome our next guest, Mr. Sean Gerard Angel P1. Hey, yeah. Musta? Hey.
Hey, surprise. So,
Wow.
EOP, EOP.
Di man. Yeah, it's freestyle man siya, freestyle man. You know what? There are a lot of our friends just really excited to be watching this episode. Can you hear me clearly? Can you hear me?
Yes,
No?
though a while ago you were garbled, but it's okay na. But you
Okay.
can hear me as well. I am not wearing headset.
Yeah, yeah, clear.
Okay lang.
Crystal clear man. There's just a little bit of delay.
Clear, right?
It's normal. Yeah, by the way, this is not live recorded siya. And we are actually airing this the next day. So technically. So
Tomorrow.
it's gonna be very interesting, yeah. The airing day will be tomorrow. So anyway, when I posted the teaser that you're gonna be a part of this episode, everyone, well, good friends and close friends to us, actually, was very excited for this interview. I don't know why. Probably because they want to hear you speak as well.
Naidlaw na sila sa emojis.
Sa imo. um, yeah, especially si Lou. They're kind of like very excited sa morning episode. No? But anyway, thank you for accepting the invite. I know it has been a very tough times for you as well, especially sa family mo of what happened. But anyway,
Everyone.
um, and how is everything so far ba? I mean, right now, what makes you busy?
This I don't know. It's my first time to be in a podcast and
Mm.
with talking to a celebrity. But
What?
yes, well, typical day. There's work. I work at night now, and yeah, to be honest, cell phone.
Mm.
I try to avoid it, but it takes a lot of time. And of course, housework, cooking, and cleaning. I don't really read a lot anymore. I used to, and I would like to go back to that. And I want to do some physical exercise once again after a
Oh
while, a
yeah.
long time.
Why don't you
That's
do biking ba? You're not into
I
cardio,
have a bike. Thanks to my beloved wife Danielle, she
of
gave me a
course.
bike years ago, and it still works. Maybe wala lang time, and but let's be honest, there's no shilling as no time, but more on what
Mm.
time you prioritize. And yeah, I think that's a good point, tips. Soon
Mm.
na. Kaya ang bike ko
Yeah.
it's in Abunaw. The
Ah, okay. So dito siya nag-ano. Okay.
right now.
Yeah, I was I think I had moments man I went biking. I think just for the for 3 days. After that, my pedal broke and then like wala na ko kakadto sa nagakayo sa bike. So I just stopped all of a sudden. But anyway,
Is it a new bike or
yeah, it's
old one?
new. It's a new
Okay.
it's a new one.
Why,
Probably
why
because
did
of
the
the
pedal broke?
I don't know. I think ang thread niya, it's not really fitting well. Though like it's like I don't know, probably it's because of the buying it really kind of new tapos wala na nag-fit ang iyang pedal for some reason and it just don't wanna fit right and wala na I just left it there and then muna I'm trying to connect with my brother kung kay siya ga kayo siya bike eh. So eventually siguro uh this weekend I would probably gonna go biking again supposedly dapat but hopefully. So anyway, let's talk about I think when you mentioned earlier na you kind of like stop reading, for a while there. What was the last book you've read ba?
Actually, there's one just few months ago, 1 month, but it's not consistent. It's just a thick book. These thick books, so it seems that they're not designed to be read from start to end. It's like may chapter ka
Hmm.
lang na gusto ibasahon. And it's it's related to management. I forgot the title, and there's just a chapter that I was interested to know about. I did try reading it from start to finish, and that was like a months back. I stopped for some reason, and then I went back again just to skip some chapters. So, I'm not sure if it's here. Oh, it's in my other room. So, it's not.
You have a nice bookshelf there. One
Yeah,
of the
ironic, no, ironic. No,
you have so actually one of the one of our friends we're chatting and like I said, they're getting pretty excited with this episode, and we can like talk about your journey towards writing. I wanted to know about that. How do you create, what's your creative process with regards to really writing stuff? And because I think the latest one that I've gone through is really the one that you did for a newspaper company, right? So
Daily
if
Guardian. Uh-huh.
Daily Guardian, tell us more about that. How did you end up writing for Daily Guardian? Tapos, what was the creative process, and what made you decide that this will be the topic that you're going to write, and how did you form it?
Well, I don't think it. Yeah, it, I'm glad you're interested in that because it's not as surprising as you thought. I had connections. That's number one. That's how it works. Basically, connections. Of course, you
Mhm.
need to have some skill. Though I don't really consider myself one of the best or better writers. Maybe at least you have to meet some certain standard to at least have that be enough. No, I'm not saying I'm bad. I'm not saying I'm good. I'm just saying. So how it works is I want to thank first of all the late Sir Jigger Latosa passed away
Oh yeah.
months ago. You heard of him. He was the
Mm.
one who actually who had connections with Daily Guardian, and I worked with the same company as him. And the plan was to just have this monthly write up, and that will help advertise the company because you're basically representing the company and you're writing something technical. As you, if you've read, it's all about business quality,
Mm.
which is my career. So that's what I write about. Though I choose, that's the category. Someone edits it. Uh, so that you don't need to be a very good writer because there's an editor. But to be honest, I don't really have much edits. So how did I get to? Yeah, that's how I technically got to that. But of course, you have to be good enough. It's not like um, you just know how grammar and then you're done. Yeah. What I was saying about not surprising because I was never really a dedicated writer ever since. I just wrote. It started in high school. I write journals daily. I was consistent until college. I think one of the ways that I really became good or at least used to it at college, not much anymore. That's why I remember a teacher who read one of my essays in when I first went to college, and she immediately recognized that I write a journal because it's
Mm.
the way I write, maybe. And yeah, following that, I tried to join news papers, college. No, not really the university, just cause got in. So kind of helped. But I really met a lot of people who are really better than I am. But at least, no, it's just you have to do it more than a few times, obviously, in your life. And it helps. And I read books about writing as well because I do have interest in writing, and I think it's a combination of passion, at least a little bit, and doing it more
Mhm.
than a lot of people do. No, I recognize that not a lot of people really write, and to the extent that don't really even have the average level. I'm not saying, but I'm just saying that in a world where not a lot of people write, you seem to
Mm.
be a good writer because you just know enough. I'm not sure if that's humble or bad. I'm not going. I'm not looking down at others. I'm just saying that's the surprising thing. People think being the best is basically having more, but sometimes it's just having more than majority. So probably this is how what happened to me. But I think there really are a lot of better writers I've met who are really dedicated and passionate than I am right now. But that's
Mhm.
something I want to revive again with me. And yeah, just it makes me feel something that nothing else does.
Good. And
Have I talked too much? This is the
no,
problem, you
no,
know.
no. That's actually great. I
Maybe.
want people to talk a lot sa morning episodes. To share their experiences. So just really anything under the sun we can actually talk about, what comes into mind and stuff. So you mentioned that you started writing way back you were high school and then went up to college and you got recognized. During that period, that scale of experience that you have, do you have a process in place ba na, okay, step one, I need to clear my mind before I write things. I need to, some people will draw inspiration sa environment. Some would actually just do a random walk in the streets and like come up with specific ideas and then they can actually write it. What was the Sean unique creative process ba na you think helped you write these things na you think na it would really where you draw your inspiration from? Is it something that very uniquely done consistently across the board, or it's just all of a sudden it just came into your head and then like you write it right away?
Okay, I failed to say this, but I think number one thing that really brought me to writing, not essay writing, is poetry. I
Mm.
almost forgot. That's really what I wrote first. No, passionate about. I started first year high school. Nag-enter nako poetry contest, but it's not exactly the good poetry. At least I'm just doing it. Sometimes when you're passionate doing something, you forget to compare yourself with other people. And because
Mm-hmm.
of that, you forget to be discouraged. You just keep on doing it. And before you know it, you're kind of better. And that's what happened to me. But until college, I remember there's this experience. We have a poetry workshop, and there's this great writers of the Philippines, Cirilio Bautista and the Riadas, and then I
Mm.
really I went my poems were criticized to the extent that it was labeled as only words written beautifully but not poetry, because poetry has some sort
Oh,
of
okay.
style rules which I was not aware of, because all I did was mimicking. No, I'm just writing how others did urged me. And from that point on, I wrote less. And though I still tried to write poetry. But I started to write more on essay after that, because I thought maybe I can translate how I write beautifully in poems in essay form, in prose, which kind of benefit at a bit. Yeah, that's kind of like the background. And you were asking how you get inspired. You read a
Mm-hmm.
lot of books. You have to, or have a lot of ideas through, maybe aside from books. Where do you get ideas? YouTube. I don't know. If you don't have ideas and you're very good at writing, you still cannot write, because you're just gonna write about ordinary things. So you have the combination of having the ability to write, to express yourself, and having something to express. So fortunately for me, as a philosophy major, I kind of have a lot of ideas. And I read enough books to have enough ideas about quality management and stuff. So when I was asked to write about business, though I was hesitant because I don't think I was good enough, I kind of combined these theories and
Good.
this, and I still read. I read online. I read about new stuff, and then I make my own. So that's it. That's how you do two things. You need to have a skill which you should be developing over time, meaning it's not something overnight. You have to do it consistently in the past. That's why, I mean, don't regret. You don't regret, but sometimes you cannot just. I mean, this is unfortunate. I mean, you cannot just dream of becoming someone and say, "I'm gonna be that tomorrow." To become someone, you have to do what it that person does in a lot of times. So basically, if you play the guitar since your grade school until now, you're basically a guitarist without even saying you are,
You are, yeah.
because you already developed the skill. But if I say I want to be guitarist tomorrow, I'm gonna buy a guitar and gonna play it. I'm not a guitarist because the skill is not been embedded in my habits in my life. So that's how I think I am. I'm not really a writer, but an enough writer at least with ideas to make my writing interesting, no? And I guess that's how it went. Good for me, I
Hmm.
believe. I don't know.
And
I actually don't know when I write if someone likes it or not, because when it gets published, you just see like people liking it on social media. I'm not sure why. So I don't really have that feedback. I don't know. I rather have the feedback so I would know what to develop. That's the good part.
yeah, I think it's better to have a feedback, really, for us to really know exactly where we can actually improve from both from in any point sa career, no. And looking at you being having this kind of experience in writing and really having that kind of concept and understanding, do you have moments? And of course, I think everyone has moments that what do you call writer's block? Na all of a sudden there's just words that you wanted to express in writing or you wanted to speak your thoughts, but at some point you got cut off and it's like totally blank and you don't know exactly what you're going to write next. So how do you deal with those type of situation when you get writer's block? How do you deal with it and how do you surpass it? Do you like stop writing for a while and then like all of a sudden continue if you get the chance to? So how do you address those kind of situation?
Interesting. Because actually, I'm not really confident to answer that because I don't really have much experience in writer's block. Not that I'm good. It's just that I have friends who are really good writers, and they have writer's block. It's like I think Google is enough that you can just type how to overcome writer's block in Google, and you have some ways to do that. For me, it's more on motivation. I have ideas, but sometimes I'm just lazy to write them down. So it's like the opposite for me. But for
Ah,
writer's block, and I really want to write, but I have no words to describe it. I think the way to overcome it is to appreciate, because that is a point in your life you are challenged to develop and improve yourself. Because take note, as what I've learned as I grew from college until now 20 to 30 plus, is that passion is limited. Now, if you rely on passion in doing things, you're not gonna do much. If you're gonna like, okay, no writer's block, I don't have enough inspiration or magic in my mind, you're not gonna. You have to force yourself. You really have to. You have to write something. There's this what they call writing prompts. You can download that writing prompts like a
mm,
topic, a story of a sandwich. No, so it like makes you write something you're not even familiar or interested in, and once you get to be good at writing in something you don't like, you really get to improve. Because if you just rely on writing what you like, you can improve, but in only one specific area. So if you really want to be really good, at least just to be improve right away, try doing something you're outside of your comfort zone. And writer's block, I think, is a signal that you are challenged to do something you're not used to. That's it. And it's an opportunity for growth. I think one way to do it is really to think that like it that way, and you really have to force yourself to write. I think good writers, as I've read, are not the types who always have inspiration every day. It's actually the types who actually write despite, in spite of not having inspiration. Just write, write. And one good thing about doing is that motivation does not happen before action. Most of the time, action happens before motivation. It's like
mm,
exercise. Why ka gana mag-exercise? But when you start warming up and jogging, may momentum ka.
yeah.
There's a man is a habitual being, and they rely on momentum. It's like your work, no? It's so hard to start working, but once you start, you just continue doing the same thing. It gets easier and easier, and you get inspiration. The same with writing. Just keep on writing. Force yourself. Just try to. I think, you know set a time like 5 minutes, write something. If kung wala gapon, do it tomorrow again. So I guess this is a tip for those who are really into it. Though I'm
Yeah.
not, I don't find the person who really should know, but yeah, that's how I would approach that.
That's actually a better advice to people, especially well, I'm not a writer myself, but there are such certain situations that um because nature isang work ta, we have to have this type of initiative always in play. The concept of really fixing problems, doing root cause analysis. So we really should have that line of idea or an action item really in store nga naka program nasa head ta that once it's being triggered, we all of a sudden na in a snap we can give our advice. Being us into, having us into that level, di ba? Siguro it's because of expectation as well. I mean, when you get into a position from where we are right now, people would expect that should have that kind of advice that would make sense. Even if people would think na no, I think this is impossible. People would think I think we're on the dead end. They go up to you and ask for your advice, and they would expect that you have something in the table that would make definite sense, even if the resolution is really gonna be a different path. But you're making sense of those things. So probably there's that kind of program in our heads that default na siya from what I have experienced, no, people that I talk to as well, very mga enthusiasm sa silang craft as musicians, songwriters. They always have that, they always have that thought process where you just have to start from something, then eventually it will grow into different stems of idea naman, and then you can actually build it. So naka-bank na siya bale for your future reference. So I think that's pushing yourself, and at the same time really starting from something really helps siguro in those type of situations. So I think that was good. And looking at your profile, I think I wanted to save the best for last, no? Especially the quality assurance question thing. um, how did you end up with philosophy? Like, is it a personal choice, or what was the
Ah,
story about that?
yeah, it's high school. It's a personal choice. I wasn't looking for a career. I mean, I wasn't looking for a career that had a lot of money or stuff like that. In my high school, I just wanted to be different. Honestly, have those young young passion just to be
Yes.
different from everyone else. And I realized I had this way of being interested in how things are and what is life and stuff like that. Emo things, if layman's terms. But I remember asking my mother, what's the course or that ask a lot of questions without even knowing what it is. And she said, philosophy mo. Oh, really? Okay, what's that? Di ba muna siyang ginakwa sa pare?
Okay.
Interestingly enough, it is because I was in a seminary when I was first year, and there was a library and there I found philosophy,
Mm.
but I wasn't interested back then. And yeah, it's and there's a reason for that, by the way. Anyways, and that's how it started. And I applied, went to San Agustin, EB Philosophy. So an interesting bunch of classmates, very eccentric, very different from others, very laid back. Culture very different from the classroom setting. Just very few of us. Most of us just took philosophy kay Malo. Most of us took philosophy because they were already seminarians before, and they went out of the seminary, so they have to have fewer units so they can graduate early. And there's me, who took philosophy because wanted. Probably it's only two or even just me who literally took it. Just that kind of made an advantage for me because I basically studied because I want to. Unlike
Okay.
many people who actually did because they have to. And that kind of made it easier for me to learn. Though I didn't really perform always on top, but I mean, it's a gradual process. Going to the just to let you know what philosophy is. I said about priest now. There was a pope, I think it's Pope Benedict something a very long time ago, who required priests to take philosophy prior to theology, which is really the
I see.
study of the
Okay.
Bible and God and stuff like that in the Roman Catholic context. They have to do philosophy because they need to think critically, at least enough. So when a priest gets may mga bae sa iya or argue, they can actually argue well because philosophy is a bit of an extreme way of looking into life to the extent na damo people kind of doubt a lot of things because of that, become skeptic, become atheists, nihilists, even.
Mm,
What it means is that there's no meaning in life, but that's deep na. Pero there's a lot, I know a lot of people. And it's a kind of a dangerous subject for religious people because it makes you doubt a lot of conventional thinking. But anyway, what it helped me with is the critical thinking because it's like the five whys, right?
yes.
In mindset, the coaching five whys are
Mm,
basically Six Sigma approach of five whys to understand, to define, and measure data. Because as you ask more questions, you basically have different answers, just more specific to the extent as you ask more questions, there are no more answers anymore because
yes.
basically the answers, from a pragmatic point of view, are more of something provided by either a society, a company, or a business. I'm not a relativist, but I still believe in objective truth. I'm just saying, knowledge basically in its initial state are subjective because we interpret it,
Mm-hmm.
we experience, and then we
You
interpret.
interpret.
Reality is outside our brains, and it's not something we really can know, but at least can have an idea about. That's a philosophy. That's an example of philosophy. For example, chicken. Chicken is a chicken because we agree it is a chicken. We agree it's in the genus of a bird, an animal, a living thing. It's a category which we agreed. No, but in reality, is it really though? Because it's basically outside. It's
That's
already
it.
our interpretation. And there's this philosophy, for example, like money. No, does it? Why does it have value? Because society creates its value. No, and not because if there's no human being in the world, there's no money, there's no chicken because no one will interpret it that way.
Interpret.
That's philosophy. So how does it help in your career practically? Because it's kind of like a weird course because you just think weirdly. Well, it helps because you have to question processes in quality, for example, or in business. And once you question it, you know why it's there. And that's when you make it more understandable. So you get to have an advantage as a manager, for example, or supervisor because you know how things work. And when some problem happens, you just don't say, we do this because the book says we do this. We do this because I have
Yeah,
analyzed
but
it in a
unless it,
philosophical way.
yes.
And I have, no, but not
The,
really in a philosophical, na nga daw,
mm,
existential, na daw depressed ka na. Pero yeah, that's why it's interesting. Na, I read a lot of books and that made me weird and made me a bit of a thinker as well. But just to be clear, it's not practical. You cannot use it in a practical sense. You just use it to get from point A to B, and then it's up to you to apply whatever practical means. Because in the first place, we have a society in order to have a practical way of living, organizing, and laws. No? But if you live in philosophy, you're not gonna be touched with the reality or what practical, and sometimes you're not gonna survive society. I mean, mentally speaking.
mentally.
I know
Mm,
people who are very idealistic because of philosophy and they kind of get detached to what's normal, and then when they meet people, it's awkward. They don't know, because they kind of like deconstructed it. And why do I need to say hi? Why do I need to meet people? Is it required?
yes.
I was only do that when I was young. Wow, na pala. And I understand this philosophical deconstruction, but I mean, what I'm saying is, You have to one technique I learned as well. Being in when we were a team with Boss Day is that you have to be practical. You have to conform, and philosophy makes you not conform, right? Because it
Mm,
makes you think
yes.
a
Think.
way.
Yeah.
That's the disadvantage. So you need to know when to use it and not. That's it.
Nice. That was nice. I gotta learn a lot. Well, new things, especially in a broader perspective about philosophy. And with that, and I think you already have mentioned that you can use it in our current careers, man, as in the quality management. But quality management really, um, I know how you got there, definitely, because we started the same, and sa intro pa lang, I already introduced you in a way na we were actually really um uh reaching our careers at that time, all at the same time, man. But what really piqued your interest to push with quality management up until this very day? As yeah, right, we have to accept the reality, man. People people evolve into their careers, and as far as I can remember, when we were doing our individual development planning, you have to profile yourself whether or not you really are a quality person or you're gonna be operations. So looking at the path that I'm heading, I did try veering away with quality one time in my life. That was in the year 2018, where I was handling operations. So I got the senior operations manager uh, back then, and I was loving it, to be honest. But I was, of course, 5, 6, 7 years of experience in quality management. We think that is really our whole life. But when I get to touch base with operations management, I it got all of a sudden something actually piqued my interest, probably because of how dynamic it is overall, and in the sense, and in terms of like really handling and being able to execute. You're free to execute things that is really going into your head, because you have a lot of things to there's a lot of resources you can actually tap on, unlike for quality na we are we are dedicated for process improvement, helping operations. We deal with root cause analysis, we deal with coaching and a lot of stuff. But then again, when I it's really undeniably a factor, man, na the experience that we have in quality management really helped us build that career path, and it's still like kind of like brought us back to from the roots. So I got back to quality management. Up until this day, I'm still really doing quality management now. But what really piqued your interest to pursue that kind of career path?
Well, it's first word is accidental.
Really?
I applied for trainer. And you remember that we're in
Yes.
Transcom.
Yeah.
So there's two options: trainer of quality. It's temporary position. The thing is, the training position never became permanent. Only the quality part. So when my time as trainer temporary ran out, I had one of my supervisors, I still respect her, Marivic, uh, encouraged me to apply quality. And I was like, is this really right for me? What's quality? People hate quality because agents don't like
Yeah.
QA. I remember as an agent, I really hate my QA. So it was like,
Tell me about it. It's
do
really
I
a
want
lot
to
of
be QA?
experiences.
So I kind of did, and then I applied, and by chance, I was able to get in, and you were there as well, no, together. I didn't like it right away. I don't really remember my first time, but I think at least now you get out of calls and you just listen to calls, which was boring. At first, it's fun, but if you have to listen
We
to
have to
many calls
accept
every
the fact that we were sleeping back when we were
Yeah,
actually working.
this was one of the days.
Yeah.
Awesome. Memorable, memorable. Anyway, what happened is, yeah, I can sum up with this quote. You don't always end up with what you want
One. Yeah.
to be, but where you need to be, So as it progressed, eventually many years of effort, we get promoted, and we get to have something in your resume. So as you apply further up towards a higher position, of course, the best possible opportunity is the one where your resume complements, and that's quality
Mm.
quality management. So I got in terms with it soon. Not really, it's not something I really hate or something, but I appreciate it because it's a lot of analytical, which is kind of like related to my background, man. And it was fun as well. Like you said, the only problem is it's a support. It's not a problem. It's a support role, and you can have constraints because you cannot really implement what you want. Sometimes you only do what is being told you to do,
Yeah.
or sometimes you have an idea. The best way to do it is you recommend it. That's why you have to build relationships with operations managers and types like that, so you can partner well. You don't need to be like divided or something separate. You can work with them, and that's how it went. And as I progressed, the more I knew, the more I realized, the more I did not know. I went to other companies because they introduced me to other aspects like Six Sigma and stuff like that, and other quality management tools, TQM. And I had to learn a lot, and I had to catch up. Very challenging. And also, when you get to be a manager, you have to handle people, which is very challenging. It's not something you are naturally equipped, especially if you're not the type of person. I'm a shy person and I come from a background of being an introvert. So it's a challenge for me. So that's just the point, when you get promoted or whatever position you take, just take note that you have to learn as you go and you have to appreciate what you have. So that's how quality worked for me. Until now, it's something like I have an advantage now because I have experience. And I also read books about quality, by the way. So this just I like to read about things I do just to make sure I have enough knowledge because I'm afraid. I'm always afraid that I'm not enough. I'm not equipped enough with things. So it kind of gave me an advantage. Yeah. I bought a lot of books like Six Sigma.
I see. You're
Yeah, I
you're
really
uh
read it.
you're you're a Six Sigma certified belter, right?
No, no.
Not
I
yet.
only I used it, but I never got the chance to get certified. Almost did, but I resigned because I went to another job. So
Ah,
I just
yes.
have this. I just apply it for some time, and then yeah, things like that, like effortless customer service. I have a book about that as well. Kind of like
Oh, good.
habits. Though I'm not a avid reader, but when I have to read, I read. That's something.
Hmm. So right now, I think, well, from my point of view as well, I think I'm seeing my career path really staying get stuck with quality. Probably because of I think the mindset that was it also depends siguro with your mentors. I think, I mean, it really made an impact as well as to how you mold your career, as well as you go along. So it was really the biggest factor of it, having to have good mentor, as you actually progress your
Correct, correct.
careers into where ano eh. Kasi it helps you it builds you, exactly, it prepares you to what's coming, in your career path at the same time. So really with the proper understanding man. No?
That is correct.
So I mean,
I agree.
yeah, and what are your plans, future plans ba? I mean, I know the COVID thing really sucked big time. It was really unfortunate now we had to go through those type of tough times, especially you and your family. No? And uh, how
Mhm.
what that experience, that experience that had happened, what will be your, what are your future plans about for yourself? Do you have any anything in mind? Do you put up a business or something?
Well, yeah, that's an idea, a good idea. Put the business. It's just that wala capital, but it's something in my mind. This is a challenging thing, Japes. What I want to be. No, they say that in order to know where you're going, you need to know where you're coming, where you came from, no, your
Mm,
past. For my case, I need to know where I am right now. Like you mentioned, stability and a good and steady, assuring job or something like that, which I have. But I mean, it dictates where I'm gonna be in a few years. That's important in my choices. But I agree, you really have to have a goal wherever you are, even if it's immediate or Elon Musk, right? He said
mm.
that where you are right now is a result of what you did 3 years ago.
3 years ago.
It's not
Yes.
exact, but imagine, no, 3 years from now, what you're gonna be is a result of your efforts today. If you
Today.
have nothing to do, probably you're gonna read or exercise, and 3 years from now, that's the result. That's the result of what you're gonna do now. So that's the way I think. Maybe, unfortunately, it's not as specific. Though I have ambitions, but I don't want to say it because, I mean, I don't think it's not yet. I don't see the horizon yet. But sometimes it's better to be prepared for nothing than not be prepared at all. So you just have to do your best to improve yourself daily. Maybe my goal right now, like I said, I think this connects with our first topic. Now, how do I be
Mm,
see myself? Ngaga cellphone lang ko or whatever. Do I do like it's an auto mode, no? Automatic mode,
mm.
no? It's like there's this quote na if you don't plan, your body does what it always does every day. If you don't plan to exercise, you're gonna basically do what you did days ago. You
Autopilot
have
siya.
you have so got the pilot siya, which is true because that's how the mind works. It's a
Yeah.
habitual thing. So I'm just focused right now to control or to change that direction and to be more self-sufficient. So when time comes, when I get better opportunities or whatever, or I get a promotion or whatever I have, no, I'll be ready. No, hello, I'll be ready. And
Other.
actually, but I still want to have a goal gets defined because my wife always tells me nga do wala ko sang do predefined goal get niya clear like I want to be but I think I have to be I'm just maybe I'm afraid to fantasize an exact one like I want to be a CEO and something like that. But
Mm.
yeah, that's as habits and then maybe in the future maybe. But now that you said it, I get conscious na, especially
Okay.
going
I
back,
mean,
no.
y-
Mhm.
no, I mean for that part, siguro, it's just we're not growing any younger, so I guess
Yeah,
better decision making siguro in the future of what you're gonna be doing in the next 3 years, or really plan out for the next 3 to 5 years, and probably end up um probably end up retiring eventually from what
oh
we
yeah,
always
yeah,
do.
yeah, it's cool, that's
We've
cool, oh.
been in the industry, Sean, for like what, 13
10,
years? 10
13,
10
yeah.
to 13 years, right?
that,
I
that
mean,
that's a good the goal, Japes, retiring, yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's
Provided you
event.
have enough, I mean, but that's why you have that goal because you're gonna thrive
Yeah.
to get enough not to retire. So
Yeah,
yeah, why
and you
not?
have, yeah, just to sustain you, I guess, as you grow old. But anyway, it was really a good talk. Um, yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you. I mean, I've learned new things, especially on your background, and get to learn know you more about it. So, I guess I will get to see you eventually after this. I don't
Yeah,
know when. Probably let's catch up over the weekend, siguro, if you have the time. I know you have. And thank you, really, for the time. And I really appreciate it. I know that our friends is really waiting for this episode, so I hope they're gonna enjoy it. And any
But
last part?
they were expecting na may mga secret reveal kita or may mga
No,
ano
I
na
mean
ganit
they know
moments of
moments.
first time na G.
And you know what? You know what? I've asked my Logan to be a special guest tani in this
Hindi
episode. It's
siya.
just that he was not able to read my message. Siguro he was sleeping or whatnot. Pero it would have been it would have been a very interesting talk if we have him as well. Probably next time. Siguro. Probably next time. Having him, and definitely I would really, this is, yeah, this should have been a secret, Patani, no? But anyway, I'm planning to really guess
Plenty of
guess but
opportunities in future episodes.
yeah, I'm gonna guess before the first season ends. Wow, season. Um, I am hoping to get in touch with Boss Day siguro. Probably have her be part of the podcast, and get to know more about her strategies and future plans as well at the same time. And it would be a better conversation if, okay, back.
I think so. Sorry,
Yeah,
sorry, James.
yeah, no
My
worries.
laptop, my internet connection doesn't want. But I
Okay,
get your
yeah. What I was trying to say
a
is,
good mix. Your our LR and then stuff like that. It's definitely a way to maybe a reunion episode.
the reunion episode, yeah, that's also a good thing. I mean, people. And I don't ano man eh, I don't pick who to really interview, na should be my platform, and it should be my legacy nga nabilin sa scene or whatever. It's just anyone, any individual I can talk to na get to share. It's better, for individuals like us sharing this type of experiences that we have to people who probably have the same, experience that they're going through in their lives as well. So that's why I picked, really random people to interview. So thank you for taking the time of doing this with me. I'll catch up soon. Let's catch up, I think, in the next coming days, because I think though we are in quarantine, the city have lifted some of the restrictions man eh. So I mean, we get to hang even a shorter period of time. So that's it. Thank you. I'll chat with you soon. Hopefully everyone's fine. Say hi to Dan for
Yeah,
me.
hi.
Daniel.
Hi everyone watching us in the future. By the way, this is you're basically watching the past. Well, this
Yeah,
anyway,
that's a good point. Yeah,
keep safe. Well,
you
all
too.
videos are past naman, di ba? Except for the
Yeah.
live ones. But keep safe. My fans, no? Let me know, JP's fans, especially.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you, Sean. Stay safe ka muna. Bye-bye. Salamat.
Yeah.
See
Bye.
you.
Thank you, James,
Bye-bye.
and I learned from
Thank
you a
you.
lot as well. Nice to have you.
Thank you.